Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another Pokemon Go video. And in this one, we are going to be going over some initial battles for the new Silph Cup called the Nightmare Cup. And in these, we're going to be showing off some of my picks, like Gallade and other things like Alolan Raichu, um, Skuntank, Umbreon, etc., etc. Yeah, without further ado, let's jump right into these cup battles here. All right, guys, welcome to the battles here. So, our opponent is Ethan, and we are going to be doing some practice battles with the new Silph Cup, which is the a Nightmare Cup here. So let's get right into these battles. We're gonna be playing this at 2 times speed, so we can get this over with. But anyways, we open Zatu, they open Alolan Muk. So we know this is a bad matchup for us, but we're going to stay in it just to see how Zato can do in a negative matchup. That Ominous Wind did nothing to it. We're going to have to block that Dark Pulse. We're just starting to get a feel of this. So here we switch out into Hitmonchan. They do a Sludge Wave, and that one-hit KOs. So now we know Hitmonchan cannot take a hit. It's pretty much identical to Lucario, but Lucario would actually be able to resist that. Actually, it would be immune because Steel is immune to poison. And there, the Lucario takes care of my team pretty handily. Uh, and yeah, Zatu can really do nothing here besides burn the last shield, but Zatu wasn't able to use its final shield. So GG to Ethan, game number 1. This is all practice, by the way, so yeah, I'm just trying to get in a feel of things. So main takeaways from that game are 1, um, Zatu, you should probably just switch out Zatu, and if you're in a bad matchup against another one of the dark poison types. And takeaway number 2 is that Hitmonchan can't take a hit, so you have to shield. If it's super effective or neutral, you have to shield. So, anyways, in this one we have a terrible lead matchup: Poliwrath versus Bronzong, so we have to get out of there ASAP. To Skuntank here, which we have Flamethrower on. We don't block that Heavy Slam, but it does a surprising amount of damage to us. We fire off Flamethrower to force a shield out, and the best we can do here is get off the Sludge Bomb. We could have possibly gotten the Flamethrower, but yeah, he doesn't block that, so it'll be resisting that because it's Steel typing. Here we switch back into Poliwrath with a Dynamic Punch to finish off that Bronzong there. We have the shield advantage, and they bring in Eradicate, surprisingly. And we're going to do Dynamic Punch to attempt to do 4 times damage, but he does block. We decided to not block that. Now we bring in Toxicroak here to nearly finish off the Alolan Eradicate, and there we block that Crunch. And now we have a Toxicroak with 1 shield versus an unshielded one, so we're going to take this win quite easily here. We have 2 Mud Bombs ready to go, and we win that with 1 shield remaining still. So GG's game number 2. Toxicroak did tons of work there. Alolan Eradicate will be taking a crazy amount of damage from fighting, as it is it's 2 times weak to it, or well, 4 times weak technically. Yeah, this time we're going to test out Drapion. A lot of Twilight Cup picks coming back, so I can definitely improve upon my Twilight Cup meta game. Yeah, Hitmon. I don't know how to feel about Hitmonchan. Like, it's good, but it's just so squishy. It's like Charizard. It'll do strong damage against dark types, but anything else it'll get wrecked. Okay, now here we have a Drapion mirror match. So not exactly what I wanted. I wanted to test Drapion against something other than a mirror. But yeah, we're just gonna hit off those Aqua Tails. Pretty spammy with Infestation. Gains a lot of energy, as you can see. That's one pretty good way of using Drapion, is to just charge farm. Or should I say farm energy. And yeah, he's going to block Aqua Tail, and his Drapion's going to come out with the win in that mirror. But here we're going to switch into Hitmonchan. He's going to switch into Hypno. We are going to stay in and see what Ice Punch does. not much. So here we're gonna switch into Zatsu. We know it could have Shadow Ball, so we're gonna block, but it is actually a Psy Shock. So kind of a waste of a block there. This one we're not gonna block, seeing as how he didn't use Shadow Ball the first time around. So now I know his Hypno does not have Shadow Ball. And yeah, this Ominous Wind is going to do absolutely nothing to Alolan Eradicate, as it is immune to it because it is part normal and also dark. So that's going to do literally nothing. And yeah, I switch in Hitmonchan, and I thought Hitmonchan could take that Hyper Fang, but again, it can't, and we lose that matchup. By the way, guys, Hitmonchan in this video, in this recording, had the Steel Quick move. It had I forget what it's called, but I didn't really TM a lot of the Pokemon in this, so that's why. I'm pretty sure I didn't have the right moves. I think later on in this video is when I TM and power up some other picks. But yeah, otherwise, that Alolan Eradicate there would have gone down super quickly. Yeah, as you can see there, as Bullet Punch. Alright, guys, so here we are. We just finished powering up and TMing a bunch of Pokemon, so now we have Shiftry in the mix. We have Alolan Raichu. We got Alolan Muk. We got Gallade, surprisingly. Yep. We evolved a pretty good PvP IV Ralts for that. We have a few other picks as well. One interesting thing about Alolan Muk is that it has Acid Spray, which um, lowers the opponent's uh, defense stat by 2, I believe. Um, while Shiftry's Leaf Tornado has a 50% chance to lower the user's attack by 1. So here we got Shiftry versus Alolan Muk. We actually didn't TM the Shiftry quite yet to have the proper moves, but we do have Leaf Blade. And it does chip away quite well, but Alolan Muk's just going to come out on top because of the tankiness. And here we're going to switch into Gallade, just to test how it would do against a negative matchup. But that Dark Pulse is going to be doing neutral, but we do decide to block both to get some extra energy for whatever's coming in next. These Confusion charge up a ton of energy, and it is Eradicate. So we're okay with that. We're just going to get off both Leaf Blades. And we nearly have enough energy for another, which we actually do. We get 3 off here, forcing their last shield out, and we're going to die to that crunch there, but we have Zatsu. He's going to switch out to Gallade. We're going to actually decide to go with Ominous Wind here to attempt for the boost, but we didn't get it, and Zatsu finishes that game off. So yeah, Zatsu being a very strong pick in this cup. A lot of it due to it because it's part psychic and flying, which means it's 2 times resisting fighting moves while being able to put out strong, super effective flying damage on all those fighting types besides Lucario. Even against Lucario, the air releases will hit quite hard. And it has Ominous Wind, so the chance for a boost is always there. But anyways, we had a bad matchup there, Bronzong versus Gallade, so we switched out here to Shiftry, and we don't block that Heavy Slam. We didn't think it would do that much damage, but it did. But we're chipping away with Razor Leaf here. We opt to not block that to save a shield. They're down 1 shield, but we should make the comeback here. So right here, I'm just going to go for an energy farm. We do decide to block that charge attack. And now he has Tyranitar, and we're experiencing a ton of lag. Alright, so yeah, the lag is continuing here, guys. We're trying to get off this Ominous Wind. And it showed us getting it off there, but we didn't actually get it off. And yeah, it's going to be all for naught because Tyranitar is going to wreck me. But we do have Gallade here with Leaf Blade, ready to do super effective damage onto T-Tar. We're going to block the Stone Edge. I thought it was going to be Crunch, but I guess it wasn't. In tier, we tried to go for a tiny bit of extra energy farm. And here we go with the lag again. And yeah, he blocks that. And we are unable to use confusions because my game is lagging. No, he most likely would have won that anyways. But yeah, we do like Gallade. It's just it was lagging, and as you can see, his T tower was smackdowning, and my Gallade was just frozen there at the end. That's just fine. This is still preliminary testing, early testing. Now we're gonna get into the juicy Alolan Raichu. And we're gonna try it. We're gonna give Hitmonchan some more love. We hope it redeems us here, but if not, we're gonna just go Toxicroak or like Poliwrath once I get the trade. I do have a trade for a Mudshot one. So yeah, here we have a terrible matchup against Bronzong. We need to get out of there. Confusion users, super strong. We're gonna switch into a Alolan Raichu for those super fast charge moves, great energy farming, and JPN comes in, so we're gonna hit it with a wild charge. We're gonna force a shield out there. We decided to just block this Aquatail. He has another one, so we decided to block that as well, and we're gonna go for another wild charge here, and he's gonna block that as well. Um, and we decided to go Hitmonchan. He's gonna hit us up with that Aquatail. Doesn't do too much damage at all. And now we're gonna go up with Power Up Punch, and we finally see another Gallade. But now we have Xatu to see what he can do here. That's going to be Leaf Blade, which I'm going to resist since I'm flying. Here comes his Bronzong with Heavy Slam, and that's going to finish us off. If we just could have survived there with a tad bit of HP, we probably could have finished that game with Ominous Winds. But that's okay. Now going to this next one, I think we just switch up the lineup a little bit. Try to catch him off guard. We want to see how Alolan Raichu does here with 2 shields in an opening match, and he opens Bronzong again. So we're going to stay in, I believe. We know we can get off these Thunder Punches way quicker than Bronzong. And he switches into Muk, so we're going to switch into Xatu. This was a pretty awful switch by me. I meant to switch into Hitmonchan, but yeah. The Airlay still does decent damage though, and we are able to farm a tad bit of energy. And they come back in with Bronzong, so we're going to hit it up with an Ominous Wind, forcing his first shield out. We're going to just let him take us down here. The Heavy Slam. We're going to wait out the switch clock and go in with Alolan Raichu. That Thunder Punch is going to do a lot of damage, so he shields. And he switches out to his own Lucario, so I'm going to switch out to Hitmonchan. We opt to block that Power Up Punch, and then his Bronzong comes back out, but we have a Power Up Punch ready. And we can just barely finish it off with Hitmonchan. So I can definitely see where Hitmonchan's strengths are. It just needs to start. It needs to basically. It needs to be able to farm energy so that it can do enough damage because it's very squishy. So it needs to have a high damage output in whatever matchup it's against to be effective and useful. It's pretty much like Lucario. You can't have Lucario against Charizard. It's going to be pretty much useless. And now, in this one, we open Skuntank and they open Breloom. This is very favorable. They switch into Bronzong, though. And we decide to stay in because we do have Crunch doing super effective damage. I'm still not set on whether I want Sludge Bomb or Flamethrower. Or if I want to replace Crunch with Flamethrower. Here he decides to use Heavy Slam, so we block because we know how much damage it does. And now we're getting a little greedy. We got a little too greedy there. Trying to finish that off with Poison Jabs. But now we have a bunch of energy loaded for this Alolan Muk coming in here. He blocks. We're going to use another Crunch. Crunch and Sludge Bomb both would not do very effective damage, I believe. If I remember my typings correctly. Now we're going to switch into Xatu, which was just... I don't know why I did that again. I wanted to sacrifice my Zatu over my Alolan Raichu, but either way, it's gonna finish them both off. So yeah, super well played by him. I shouldn't have used both shields so early on. That was a huge mistake by me. So yeah, Alolan Muk has the sweeping capability if it has the energy gain, energy advantage. I mean, like right there, he was somehow able to get off 2 Dark Pulses, and my team comp was bad. And it was weak to 2 things weak to Dark, kind of imbalanced. But yeah, if only I had a shield, that could have turned out way different. I think that was just awful, awful play by me. Take notes. But yeah, here we are. Shiftry against Alolan Muk again. We're gonna switch out to Hitmonchan. We're gonna power up punch him away, and his Hypno is now locked in with our Hitmonchan, so this is really bad. We're gonna go out with an Ice Punch there, chipping that Hypno down to just under half health. And now we're gonna come in with Zatu. Uh, we know his Hypno doesn't have Shadow Ball, so oh, we do actually block that because I'm not too sure why. I still think for some reason he has Shadow Ball on it here, I guess. But yeah, we have to block this Dark Pulse, but we are going to force another shield. And now we're looking pretty good as long as we can get rid of this Alolan Marowak. I mean, not Marowak, Muk with Shiftry, and we should be able to quite easily. But he does switch out to Bronzong, so very well played. Leaf Blade isn't going to be doing very effective damage because Steel resists Grass. And yeah, that Heavy Slam is going to annihilate us. But we do actually both faint out at the same time. So that Alolan Muk, I could have possibly won that if that Bronzong had lower health. I could have possibly won that because that Alolan Muk was real low. But yeah, I love Shiftry's Razor Leaf damage. It's like a Tropius essentially, just not as like um as OP, I guess you could say. But he is really weak to fighting types, so watch out. Um, and here again, we have him in an opening matchup against Raticate. He's great at just doing damage. You don't really need shields for him because his Razor Leaf damage is so strong. As you can see, I didn't block, and look at how low that Raticate is there. It's pretty much like easy pickings after that. But his Raticate does get off a crunch. We don't need to block that because we know Skuntank resists that crunch. Uh, and here comes in his Lucario. So we're going to hit it with a Sludge Bomb there. We're going to make a quick switch into Zatu to see what we can do. We saw the count of counters, so he blocked that Shadow Ball, and his Gallade comes in now, but Aerial Ace is going to easily finish that off, and we're going to block this Power Up Punch here, just for good measure, and fire off this Aerial Ace to take that win. And yeah, that concludes our initial testing with the few Nightmare Cup meta options that I have powered up and bought a secondary move for. So some key takeaways, or well, not takeaways, but some key takeaways are that one, Shiftry is Razor Leaf. It doesn't need shields because the Razor Leaf is just so good that it eats away the health. And with Leaf Tornado, that's a very good strategy to basically do a bunch of damage, and then if you know you're gonna die, you might as well use Leaf Tornado to attempt to lower the opponent's attack stat by 1. Um, we have Gallade, the Confusion user, which in practice would wreck a Toxicroak. I'm just waiting for a time for that to be shown for you guys. Let's see here. Alolan Raticate gets destroyed by fighting types. It's 4 times weak, but it completely walls a Zatu, especially if Zatu uses Ominous Wind, because it is like, what is it, like 3 times resistant to ghost moves since it's normal. Normal is like immune to ghost, so that actually makes it 4 times resistance. Yeah, that's immune in the main series games. Pretty much, ghost moves won't even affect normal types at all. But yeah, let's see what else do we have here. We got Gallade as a confusion user, Shiftry Razor Relief user. We got Bronzong as another confusion user, but it will take nice damage from fighting types. It's like a trade-off there. We got Skuntank as the counter to things like Gallade, um, Spiritomb, Shiftry. Um, yeah, its crunch does really good damage, and if you have Flamethrower, you can be cheeky and use it against the Bronzong if you really needed to. We got Xatu to counter the fighting types with its ominous wind as well to kill any of the Bronzongs or like Gallades that you see, or Hypnos especially. Um, yeah, that's pretty much like the takeaways. Alolan Raichu has very good spam damage as well, dealing um, 1 times damage to pretty much everything across the entire meta with Wild Charge and T-Punch, as I'm gonna call it now, for short. T-Punch being a great shield bait, Wild Charge being a great damage dealing move, and Spark just being an absolute like the absolute fastest or one of the absolute fastest moves for energy gain. And yeah, that wraps up this cup testing again. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. We are we're getting closer and closer to 200 every day, guys. So I appreciate the support, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow with probably some more cup testing and battles, or I might throw out my last 2 rounds of my freestyle Great League tournament. We'll see. But until then, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.